What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Fiction Tea Review. Today we're going to talk about the movie Get Out, directed and written by Jordan Peele. It came out in 2017. It is a horror thriller genre. It's rated R, and you can watch it on currently Amazon. Premise of it is about this black man named Chris, played by Danielkaluua, and his white girlfriend Rose, played by Allison Williams. Him and his girlfriend, they go out to visit her parents, this lake house. And from there he meets a few other black people who he suspects to be acting strange and very, very weird. And he slowly realizes that they're not acting strange, they're actually strange, and there's something deeper going on here with these people. The black people, the white people, everybody is just loony up in this place. And they're taking control of black bodies and using them to get their family members and get their friends and their peers to inhabit these black bodies and steal their body parts. Now, at first when I was watching this and Danielkaluua's character Chris was on his way to this lake house, I'm thinking, you two have been together for 2 months. Are you really sure you want to go to this random lake house out somewhere in the woods, eats Bubba, you don't know where at? He asks her, so have you told your parents? Have you told your parents that I'm black? And she's like, why would I tell them that? That doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter. And it's like, yeah, it should matter. But that's the first thing that you should tell somebody when you're in a relationship, especially in an interracial relationship. That should definitely 100% be mentioned, because you have to take into account their lives, their livelihood, your people's opinions, their thoughts, uncomfortability, all of those things. And then she mentions, my father would have voted for Obama for the 3rd term. And I'm just like, that means nothing. That scene with the dare was definitely planted. They definitely threw that dare across into the air because it just came out of nowhere. And I'm just like, where did this dare come from? You just see a dare just fly across in front of the car, and I'm just like, one, somebody threw that dare. That was the setup. And 2, that the dare represents what's to come in the next couple of scenes. It's very notable to mention and important to mention that they showed every aspect of a white Caucasian person stereotyping or being a specific type of person that stereotypes black people. There was a couple who brought up Tiger Woods. They brought up Tiger Woods because he was a black golfer, and talked about how black people are so genetically built this way, and if they were black they would be doing this and that, describing black people and black men in a very animalistic way, as if they are not people. You had the lady who was kind of really just practically drooling over Chris and touching his body and looking at how it's so chiseled, and kind of looking at him like he was a piece of meat, he was some piece of animal. Then there was a couple who said that black was in fashion. We're sort of appropriating being black, and how black is this thing where you can be black because it's cool. You can pretend to be black. You can kind of put it on as a mask, as a chic, and you could just take it off because it's cool to be black. And then after you're taking the black off, you can just go back to your life. They made it they used black in this aesthetic way where it was this fashionable, cool thing that you can do and then be done with it after. And just you can't do that when you're black. It's also interesting how Chris suspected everyone to be jealous, or they wanted his girlfriend. He talked about how he was like, oh, maybe the lady's just jealous because she doesn't want me here, or maybe the guy's just jealous because he likes you. He never suspected her to be a part of all this. He never, not one time, suspected that maybe she could possibly be in on this. I thought that was very, very interesting. But that hypnotizing moment was definitely intense, and he started crying. His eyes were bawling. He was glued to his seat, and the mom's like, because I paralyzed you. The mom, Missy, was just like, I paralyzed you. And he's just stuck, and you see the tears coming down his eyes, and you could just feel his emotion. And he was really, really engaged in that part. And that was a great scene, watching him sink into his own darkness, his own thoughts, his own subconscious. The creepy moments begin for me when they were all outside bidding in some sort of bingo outdoor activity on Chris, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is creepy. Like, this is very, very creepy. Also notice all of them were elderly. Like, the majority of them were elderly people, elderly white people. A creepy moment, of course, when it was time, when he wanted to leave and he was yelling at Rose. He's yelling at Rose, the keys, Rose, the keys. You could feel that intensity, like that panic, that fear, like, Rose, where's the keys? Everybody came out. The dad came out the woodworks. The mom came out. The brother came out. And, like, you knew something was about to happen. It was about to go down. Then we come to learn that these people are on some Jeepers Creepers type except with the mind. We learn that they are inhabiting black bodies. They're still in their brains, replacing it with replacing the brain of a black person into their brain. They're stealing black people's bodies, and it's just some really creepy, weird stuff. Kind of like black marketing, except instead of using organs, he's using brains because he's a neuroscientist. I do wish that we were shown the full extent of how this was done, like step by step. I would have liked to see that. I would have liked to see how it was done, the procedure, the process, the surgery, step by step. If not with Daniel Kaluuya's character, but maybe the character in the beginning of the movie when it first started, played by Lakeith Stanfield. They should have shown that. I would have liked to have seen like some sort of flashback of how the operation is done and how the person acts right after, and like what goes on. Like, it just seems like it would have been really fascinating to me and to know. As far as visuals go, I did enjoy the sunken place scene with Chris. Like I said, when he was going into his kind of subconscious mind, everything was black and he was like just floating in gravity. And you could see like this small picture, and he's looking up his black hole because he was suppressing his thoughts, and he was forced to face his trauma. But when he got his revenge, I was like, oh, he did not come to play. He was tired of the BS. He was tired of the BS. He killed them with a passion. He came at the dad with that giant deer, which was like foreshadowing to the dad's death. The deer is taking charge now in this way. He takes the deer's antlers and kills the dad, and the dad's like struggling on the floor. And that also knocks over these lights, and I'm like, that's kind of symbolic because when deer see light, they kind of like freak out. And in this case, the dad dies. Just like when deer see lights, they run onto the street and they get run over by a car. Like I said, when it came to Daniel Kaluuya's character, Chris, he was very alert. He knew something was going on. He was suspicious of everyone and everything, even though he still went. And even though, like I said, he never suspected anything about Rose. Now, Rose, she was doing her thing good. Like, she was never suspected of anything. She played along very well. Like, it was just, she played her part so well. How she lured all the black people in just so fraudulently. Dean, the father, he played his very sweater-wearing, glasses, professor-wearing, I traveled to multiple countries around the world, and I'm so privileged. It's such a privilege to be able to do that, father, like, down to the T, and I've definitely met that type of person. The mother, Missy, played the whole kind of quiet, and she's hypnotizing, but also seems like she's cool and collective type person to the T. The friend Rod, played by Lil Ray Howery, which honestly, he was like the best character in this. He's one of those friends we all want. We wish we had this type of friend. He was funny, he was humorous, but he also was real and honest, and he came through in the end. Thank God he came through in the end. I like how the end ended that way, how he did come through in the end, how he saved his friend, how it wasn't like the cops pulling up and arresting Chris and taking him to jail, and his girlfriend Rose being super salty and thinking that her privilege was about to save her this time. And Rod was like, I'm mother TSA. Overall, I definitely would recommend this movie. Even though I feel like the first time I watched this, it was like much more like amazing when I first seen this, and the second time it was like a different feeling than the first time, but I definitely would recommend this. Like I said, you can watch it on Amazon, and be sure to get you a copy of my book Rain. It is a psychological thriller about a group of young adults in a psych ward who are trying to figure out who've been living there for so long to get this new counselor who he's come to help them, but he also has a secret motive to find his brother. And while he's trying to figure out what's going on, he learns that this place is haunted, and it's crazy because these kids have some sort of abilities, these kids have a connection, and there's something deeper and serious going on here. It's not just them being crazy. And we kind of go through this journey of uncovering what's really going on, really beneath, deep beneath these mental illnesses that these kids have, and deeply within the crevices of this mental institution. And it gets really crazy. So if you're interested in getting a copy, you can definitely hit the link in the description box below on my website, and you can also add yourself to my email list, because I'm trying to build an email list so that we can have discussions about books and how to write, and I can help people with writing. And eventually I would turn that into a Patreon where I can offer my services to help people write books and have discussions about book reading and all of those things. And like I said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that bell button to get notified for more future videos. I will see you next time. Peace out.